Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Good to see you here. Feel free to say hello. Yeah, hopefully this day finds you well. I see you there, Richard. Hello. Just gonna move this over. Afrosia, Patrick, Clarissa, Noor, Susan. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to talk about and kind of do a number of photo manipulation ideas. Excuse me, and using just a couple photographs is the idea. So, yes, Bobby Orlando, it's been a while. I'm doing fantastic. Oh, and it is Friday the 13th, so we'll have to do maybe a scary composite. But basically, we can kind of talk about photo manipulation ideas and just a way to get the creative juices flowing, since it is, Friday morning and all that good stuff. So let's just dive into this. And thank you so much for joining me. Jan, good to see you as well. I'm following you on Instagram. So fantastic. So I'm going to cover a number of Photoshop tips and tricks, things like that. But again, just to kind of get the juices flowing, a lot of times, again, I'll use like Pinterest. I'll use Behance as well. And photo manipulation ideas, like I want to do something kind of fun and surrealistic and all that fun stuff. So that's why I kind of jump out and sort of get some inspiration. Just bop around the different places on the interwebs. You can see a number of crazy desert island. Look at that peeling back. That's so fun. What's this craziness? We're not going to do something crazy just to do something crazy, but hopefully it has some meaning, some deeper meaning behind it. But you can see a number of just awesome arts just out here on Pinterest. So again, we're just getting the juices flowing. I love chopping up images like this. This is like right up my alley, just so you know. So this will be good. Steve, hello to you too, my friend. So this is going to be great. Again, cutting up and peeling back, doing all this crazy stuff. Oh, I love this. This looks very Friday the 13th. A little creepy, but I'm totally into it. So let's kind of... fun fact, it's the first and last Friday. First and last Friday the 13th of the year. I'm going to save this. In fact, I think I have a surrealism Pinterest board that I'm going to save this to. Very cool. This sort of craziness with the eyes and all that fun stuff. So hopefully this is inspiring to you. How would you even do a painterly effect in Photoshop? What is my name on Pinterest? That Paul 1209. I don't know why it's not my actual name. Go figure. But you can see a number of my art and all that good stuff. So again, super fun. Here's my surrealism Pinterest board. I only have a couple things in here because I have like a ton of other categories, but I like this fractured broken mirror art. So we'll start making notes, and that's usually what I'll do is like, I'll think about doing a glitch distortion, Salvador Dali effect, like removing facial features plus adding features will be really fun. Double, triple exposure, right? Halftone pattern. We could do a ton of this stuff. We're all used to doing sort of a fisheye lens, things like that. But I'd rather combine images together. But that's the goal. And we're going to make something fun. So let's kind of dive into this in Photoshop. Bam, we're there. 3 minutes in. Here's a bunch of art that I've also collected too. Isn't this nice? Look at all this gorgeous stuff. Very weird and surreal. I just love it. I love this for some reason. Very cool. I'm also curious where you guys get your inspiration as well. Where do you guys go to get like inspired? I'm really inspired by Necro's stuff. Nekro. Nekro. He's Spanish. This is all Photoshop. He does amazing work, and I absolutely love it. That's why I pinned so much or saved a ton of his work. I just think it's so cool. It's not like my style necessarily, but I do want to make something like it. It's just so awesome. This is Sasha Vinogradova. Gradova's work too. So again, we're just getting inspired, folks. Hopefully you're into this. I'm Baby Spork. I saw that too, Penny Doodles. So again, hopefully you're into Necro stuff. It's all done in Photoshop, just bits and pieces. We're going to be working in Photoshop as well. So that's the plan. In fact, that's where we're at right now. So let's kind of get this party started. We've gotten inspired. We'll cover Photoshop tips too. So here's, you know, again, just like one sort of human face that we can kind of start with, and we'll do as many of these as we can knock out. So yeah, speaking of knockout, I want to knock out the background. Let's do that. Yeah, so Marsha, he doesn't do 3D. It looks 3D. It's just crazy that it's not 3D. It's just so nuts. So right in here, typically go to this layer. Here's my human layer. I use this magic button that I love so much, remove background. Boom. Nature, animals, flowers are a few things that inspire me. Awesome, Michelle. That's why we're on the same page. Like nature and animals and things of that nature inspire me as well. And are used in a lot of my work. Okay. So you can see what it does is it cuts that out and then actually creates that layer mask that we could always clean up. Yeah, it's crazy. I would love to see one of his PSDs. I think that'd be really cool. He does share some of it. We'll just jump in here and maybe kind of clean up this. If you ever get a little bit of a fringe, and this is actually probably going to be fine, you could always shift the edge in, right? So sometimes I'll shift the edge in just to make sure I've removed all the background. And you can even sort of decontaminate colors. So if this was on a different colored background, it would remove that color for you. New layer with layer mask. There we are. There's my sort of new one that's maybe a little bit more cleaned up, but let's have some fun with this. I love the idea of doing something creepy since it's Friday the 13th. So here this is. So far, so good. Cheers. All right, let's do this real fast. I want to kind of cut him off like right at the neck. Okay, there's a number of ways you could do this. If you're lucky enough to have like Photoshop on the iPad, which you should have access to, or whatever, or even a tablet. So I currently have a Cintiq, so I could just hit B for brush. Here's my brush. It's set to black. And then thankfully, and we're not going to paint with it, we're going to make sure we're on our good old layer mask. And then I can just kind of go around like so. Another way to do this is actually just to use the pen tool. And I want to get into that as well, because I think that's like really important. I want to show some stuff. So there we go. Here's our floating head. Trim that up a little bit more. And if you want an even smoother line, do you guys use this? Eve, do you know about this? Right up here at the top, smoothing. So this will give your whatever tool, currently the brush, because this is in a number of places, it will give it like a little bit of a delayed reaction, right? So I could take that up to say, I'll just do this to up to 50% just so you get a feel for it. And now, you're not going to notice this that much, but as I paint, I get these like smoother lines, right? Because there's a delayed reaction with it. I'll crank it up to 100%, right? See that delayed reaction? So this might be good for doing that smooth line like so. That looks even better. Now we have our floating head. Cool. Yeah, we're all just going to be floating heads in the metaverse. Something creepy by Paul means this Friday. That's funny. I don't know if my palettes are friendly. Okay, so we're going to take our lovely human and we're going to convert it to a smart object. Boom. I do that all the time. I have a little shortcut key. Bam. All right, so what if and I guess we are going to get a little creepy, because let's say I want to like sever this head some more since it's Friday the 13th. Man, we're getting creepy. So that's what I want to do. I want to kind of like sever this head. But I want to have a clean line. So this is what I'm going to do. Bruce, this is really fun to do. Hello, Bruce. I'm going to take the pen tool. I'm just going to have it set to path. And I'm just going to come over here and I'm just start clicking, click, click, and click, and click. And we're going to kind of just encompass, say, maybe not even that part. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the whole thing. Who knows? Let's just do this. Encompass the head. And go back in. Direct selection tool. Just make sure this has a nice curve for the forehead. Right? Maybe I'll even add a couple additional points in here as well. So it kind of feels like I'm working in Illustrator right in here. And I'll just add one more point right down there just because I want to curve around the head like so. So we'll do something kind of like that. All right. There we go. We have this. This is just a path. And I think this is really cool. I didn't know this for the longest time. I'm going to take this and I want to take this path that I currently have selected. And I want to make a vector mask. Okay, so what we did before, this is just a path, right? Or excuse me, it is a layer mask, but now I want to make a vector mask. Remember, our layer mask is inside of here, inside of this smart object. So we'll go with that path selected, we'll go down to layer, and we'll go to vector mask, and then we'll just select current path. Let's watch what happens. Selecting current path. Fantastic. Like, this is so much easier to control now, because now I can go in and say, hey, you know, let's just go ahead and give this more of an adjustment, or wrap it around the head over here a little bit better. But I just like love having this like flexibility to just really make that a nice little a little curve like so. Okay, we need to do the top half of the head. So let's just take this, we'll duplicate it, shabamo. We'll do the top part. The top part. Same thing, right? I'm just gonna take this, bring that up here, and adjust, you know, basically adjust all of this lovely paths. Do you guys use this at all? Fatty, thank you. I'm looking for somebody with like my, you know, that as excited about this as I am, because this has helped me out so much. I used to bury things in multiple folders and blah, blah, blah. Like, it is so clean having this just right here with these little paths. So now I have the top part, and then I have the bottom part, right? And they kind of fit together. And we'll separate them. Here we go. Let's make it weird. There we go. We just popped the top off. Right? Here for the shiblam. Is that weird that I say that, Annika? I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. Now let's kind of do the inside, right? You could do roughly the same thing. We'll probably fill it with, I don't know, some brains. What if we filled it with more, right? I think this is going to be really fun. We're going to fill this with all sorts of things. Again, this is just one photo manipulation idea, but we're going to do sort of the insides. Okay. So this time I might even just grab a regular pen. So hit P for pen. We'll zoom in here and we'll just quickly kind of go bop, 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 zabop. Zabop. And there we are. Something like that. Direct selection tool, just kind of building this inside, and we can keep in mind that we have all those tools that we're familiar with in Illustrator are right in here. We're not going to do, I really want to do flowers, you know me, but I think I've been like doing that way too much. Because that's, you know, I don't know. It's like, you know, I'm into it. But nonetheless, I think flowers are a great idea. You'll see those out there. That's just one photo manipulation idea. You know what I forgot to do? Here's a good question for me. Okay. Let's do Da, da, da. I want to make this a shape. Okay, so I'm kind of stumping myself, and I'm trying to think in the back of my brain how to take a. This is basically a vector path, as you can see right here, and I want to make it a vector layer. So that's my goal, is to turn this into a vector layer. And I need help here. I'm just going to go ahead and ask for it. Do you guys know how to take a vector path, right? Because what I've drawn, how can I take a vector path or any vector path and turn it into a vector shape? We want it, pen tool, select the top left of the toolbar, select shape. Yeah, we do that, but we do that initially. When we do that, so let's just go in there. Yeah, so that's what you do before you start drawing. But what if you've already drawn the vector path? So this is the path. How do I turn this into a vector shape layer? A shape layer. That's what I need. Shape layer. Shape layer. We need convert to shape. There it is. Why is it not selected? Convert. Oh, no. Can't do that. So that's the big question. We'll work on that later. Click on the icon of the bottom path panel. Let's try it. Yeah, all this. Yeah. Yeah, so I can make with selection and fill it with a color, but what it's still going to be there is it's going to be a raster layer. So if I do, if I click here, so this is what a lot of people will do is you'll click here, you'll have your layer, and you'll fill it with a color, right? But this is now just a raster layer. And what we want is a vector shape, basically. We want to make a vector shape. So the only way I really know how to do that is just to draw it over again. But I'm sure there's a way, and that's going to bother me till I figure it out. So now that this is set to shape, that's what I want. We'll go back in here. We'll click. This will only take 2 seconds. Zoop. There it is. Zoop. So this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to draw initially. I know there's a way to do it. I'm surprised it's not under my layer panel. That's where I was expecting it to be. So anyway. Bonus points to whoever figures that out. It's Control-Delete. I'll try anything at this point. But here we are. Let's give this a nice curve on the end. We kind of have the inside of the head. We'll make sure this is underneath like so. Cool. All right. I even tried Control-Delete. All right, so there we go. We have the inside. That's all squared away. We have exactly what we want right in here. This is the inside of the head. There we go. Boom. Oftentimes, I won't even I could use a solid color, right? I can come in here and just do a color overlay or something like that. But what I would probably do is grab a piece of his skin because I want it to be the same. So I would take this guy. Hey, buddy, I know you're going to hate this. I know it might hurt a little bit, but I'm just going to take some of your flesh right here. Let's take some of that. Let's copy it. Let's paste it. And then we'll just add a clipping mask like so. Boom. Did it. Right, there it is. Scale it out. I'm just kind of making sure I have that texture. There we are. And then we'll make it a lot darker. Kind of just doing the inside right now. We'll throw a maybe a curves in there, or we could do levels. But let's take that down. Let's throw some levels in there. And let's put something fun in this too. I'm kind of working non-destructively for you guys. I almost was not going to work wrong non-destructively. There we go. So we have that kind of, we just have that texture in there. Cool, we did it. That took forever. Let's put something inside of it. We need to do the edge too, because I think what's really cool about a lot of these pieces that we were looking at is the edge right in there. Let's see if I can go to the full res, but like there's a little bit of an edge, there's a shadow, there's all sorts of fun things in there. So we could do that same type of sort of surreal look, right? We could put his head inside of there. So Command J, we'll do this really fast, delete vector mask. Here he is, Command T, scale him down just a touch, put him inside right there, and now we have like a second version of him inside, which is kind of fun. Okay, from there, let's add some shadows. Boom, boom. B for brush. Right click, change to a nice soft round. Yeah, you get the idea. This is just a quick and dirty example, right? And I could play with these eyes. So I'm going to take this. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. We're going to group this together because we're going to do multiple ideas. We're going to do the peel back, sort of who is the you inside of you, you know? Like, who is that? Who is the Biola inside of the Biola? Is that weird? Who is the person inside when you're alone? Who is that? And if we take a look, looks like I made multiple copies. Here's our, let's get rid of this one. Let's duplicate this entirely. Command J. This will be our new version. We'll work on that, but let's finish up this one because it'd be really cool if we had the eyes peeking out and not just the forehead, because that's not that exciting. So we'll jump in. Good thing we made this vector mask like we talked about earlier. It makes it super easy. Kind of jump in. You guys will probably do this like, oh, I might have to readjust this a lot now that I look at it. So let's readjust this a lot. Let's take this. We're going to have it kind of wrap around his eyes. This is getting better, and this is the process of creating, right? So again, we're just working on some photo manipulation ideas. This is only one of, hopefully I get to 3 today, would be fantastic. That is my goal, all using the same photo and just different looks, different styles, just different ideas for this particular photo. Okay, and maybe this is a photo of you, but have some fun with it, right? There we are. I know it gets a little disconcerting having that boom, boom, shabam. Having that part on the inside, so we'll turn that off. And let's get to work. Hurry, hurry. Sorry, I'm not reading chat right now. What are you guys talking about? And how is everybody doing this fine Friday the 13th? I wasn't planning on doing something like too creepy, but I think this is going to be it's going to be a little disconcerting, which is okay. So there that is. That's going to wrap down here. Maybe it's going to wrap around the ear a little bit. So we'll tighten that up. Change that like so. There we have that. We turn that on. And now we have, again, that face sort of inside of there. Work it, Paul. Move this part down. Again, having these vector paths just makes all the difference in the world because it's so easy to edit. Take this, move it up a touch. There we go. And let's bring this all together a little bit more. Zoop. There we are. Top part, bring that down. Add the shading. Like so. Let's add a background, right? And now we're getting something like a little trippy, okay? All right. So yeah, so far so good. One thing I'm not crazy about, and again, this is a case where I'd name my layers not for anyone else, but for myself. Honestly, I don't care if you name your layers, guys. I don't care. Does your client care? No, nobody cares. Your client will care if you have to pass off that file to someone. But one thing it is missing is like we need a little bit of like a highlight. We need to paint along this edge because it's too sharp of a cut, right? So let's go ahead and add a layer, and we're just going to put that for human. This is actually going to be top part, bottom part. Even though, you know, I named this the most generic name, I just named it part. That means nothing to me, but it's the lower half nonetheless. All right, I'm going to change this flow, take this flow down a lot. And we can kind of work on a little bit of a, excuse me, a little bit of, you know, a soft highlight along this edge. So that's what I'm doing, just adding a soft highlight right here. Oh, and I have the smoothing turned all the way up. Let's take that down. By adding that, you can see that right there. So that's what we want. This is where I would jump out with Wacom. Give it that nice bevel. Right, this line is way too crisp too, so I'd probably do something to clean it up. And I'm painting with white, but this is going to change in a second, so don't worry too much about that. Let's undo those last little bits. There we go. And let's change this to, say, overlay or soft light. See? That already looks better like so. Cool. Cool. Let's have a drink of our blueberry coffee. Fantastic. And I just mixed my blueberry coffee with my cherry coffee, so we'll see how that tastes. All right, so we have that part done. That looks pretty good. I can smudge that. I can do a ton of things, right? Because I'm thinking even if I ever need to smooth out a line, go ahead and grab your smudge tool. Right underneath the blur tool, you'll see smudge, right? We'll change the brush. And I could smooth that out just by smudging it, right? Just to soften that line, okay? So far, so good. Now let's do the top part. Adding our shading and all that fun stuff. B for brush. Yeah, blueberry coffee is weird. Try making it lean inward. Exactly right. Thank you, Zara. I love it. I absolutely love it. I agree 1,000%. And we're gonna do that. Should we do it now? Sure, why not? So you can make it lean in, which means you're gonna have to subtract. I would actually throw a layer mask on this, and remember, this is gonna be called like our highlight. And here's my layer mask right here. And then I would start painting with black just to get rid of that top edge. So let's make sure this is up to 100%. And I'd go in and do just kind of like remove, because it shouldn't have gone clear to the edge, but could we just kind of like remove a little bit of it at that top edge? Now, there are other ways to do this. This needs to be a touch darker, yada, yada, yada. We got that. Let's make a new layer. Actually, let's go ahead and... This is what we're going to do. Okay. Wait for it, wait for it. So if you option click on a layer, you're able to see, since I can't really tell what this is actually the mask that I have for this particular layer. And what I want to do is I want to make this all black. There we go. That's that whole black part. I might not even do that. I think I'm going to undo that. And I'm going to just paint with black along this edge. And why is it just... Huh. Anyways, I'm going to paint with black along this edge. And basically I'll use overlay for this as well. So go in here, we'll change this to overlay. And that's sort of the bevel you're looking for, right? Or that like sort of like it's rounding into, and I would smooth this out, but it's kind of rounding, like giving it a little bit of depth, right? I'm not worried too much about that inside, but there we go, something like that. There we go, we got it, okay? Does it look good? Does that make sense? All right. Oh, same thing up here. Geez, it's like art takes time, huh? Oh, you just thought everything was like a magical control that you hit and then it was done. But no, it's like, oh, this is work. It's the best work you'll ever find is what it is. So much fun. Again, I'm trying to show you guys tips and techniques without belaboring it too much. Because this top edge is basically the same thing, right? We'll go in there, we'll take a look at it, gets a little strong, we could adjust the opacity, right? Do a number of things to kind of soften it up. Oftentimes a soft light will definitely make it softer, right? And we could also still use the smudge tool. So go in here with smudge, right? And I would just like smudge that out just to kind of, you know, make it not look like a line. You know, there we go. Like a little smudge on the forehead. Sure, why not? And I'll even erase with it. There we go. Perfect. We did that. All right. And they said Photoshop would put artists out of work. Right? Remember, we made that lovely vector path. I love it. So I can come in here. Because what do we need to do right here along this edge? We want to be mindful. We just made that little bevel, so we don't want to shift this line too much, but it needs to like not have such a sharp point at the end here. That's what's bothering me, right? So let's just do that. Zoom out a touch. Move this over. Take this in, like so. Oh yeah, we need just like a nice little curve right here. Kind of like that. Okay. What else are we missing? Yeah, we need to do this other, the other side, but also we have that part of the head. So, yeah. Let me take all of this, move it down. Yeah, oh yeah, I need to do some painting right in here and all sorts of things. All right. Are you ready for this? Let's take this chunk. Let's just take a chunk of flesh here. Maybe I will just paint. Okay, sorry for not looking up at chat. I'm so sorry. We just need to do this edge because this is going to just drive us nuts, right? So right over here, we need to have that round the corner. Like go, zoop. Let's make sure this is all the way cranked all the way up. I'm literally just using this to like paint. Just kind of needs to go around like so. Okay. That's roughly what we need. Let's make this match. So I need to grab that part of the forehead as well. Yeah, who knew this would be so... Who knew design would be work? But again, it's the best work you can get. There we go. Here's the piece that I just grabbed. Let's flip vertical. We're just going to get that to match like so. So it needs to be something like that. That's all. Okay, you guys get the idea. It's going to be pretty small. Okay, sorry that took a little bit of time, but now you know how all that all works. It's all those small details. You're exactly right. Thank you so much, Biola, because it really is. Like, this would be driving everybody nuts if I didn't fix it. It would drive me nuts, right? So again, we need to kind of take care of that. We have this little curve. I would just, you know, we'll just call it curve. It's easy enough to get squared away. There's our little bevel. We don't need this one, do we? Nope. All right, cool. We're making things happen. We're making something weird. This is inside human. Who are you inside, huh? Maybe you're full of life, which is why I want to brighten this up. In fact, I'll use an adjustment layer right in here. Maybe we'll have some fun on the inside. Let's jump in here. We'll deal with curves. Let's just have some fun. It might get a little weird, but you know, do we brighten up the inside? Do we play with those colors somehow? You know, that's all I'm doing. Right now you have, of course, an electric version. I personally I think it looks better when it's a little bit more realistic. But anyways, who are you on the inside? You happy-go-lucky person? Hey, you know how this works now. All right, so we've gone for 38 minutes. This is looking pretty good. I could still work on that bevel the same way I did on this part down here. Come on. Come on, pal, hurry up. Make it work. Make it better. I'm just smudging this little highlight, the top part of it. And I'll even add a little bit more to it. All right, we did it. Cool. Yeah, this guy doesn't look very happy. This person does not look very happy. But we did it. We did our peel back version, right? Just for fun, right? So again, who is this person inside? We could do a ton more things now that we have this set up. Command J, peel back number 2. Right? We can think about adding different things in there. Do we add... A skull is really evident. Yeah, sure, we could do that. We could throw the globe in there. So instead of you having, say, a brain in there that you would see, maybe it's the Earth. Okay. So again, just one option. In fact, let's use our magic button. Let's click remove background and see what happens. Boom! It did it. Make it a smart object. This guy's just thinking about the world. Thinking about the Earth. So there it is. All right, there's the inside. Take this, shrink it down, and drop it on in there. Like so. Anyways, just fun ideas. So yeah, that's what we have so far. I really miss the eyes. Let's make something that's a little disconcerting now. Again, kind of taking inspiration from what we saw earlier. In fact, we'll like reset because we cut up this image plenty. Let's just start with, you know, this guy. Okay, you ready for this? This might get a little weird. I'm going to rasterize this layer. I'm going to duplicate it. And this time we are going to just eliminate everything but the eyes. Okay? So you ready to get a little weird up in here? Just to remove everything except for the eyes. This might get a little trippy. Turn that on. Take these eyes. And we'll just move them up like so. And I know this is going to mess with your head, and that's the whole goal. It is Friday the 13th. Like, does that not mess with your head or what? You might hate this one, but how hard is that to look at? It's so difficult. Right? So difficult. That hurts. That hurts my eyes, everyone. All right, so that's our second one. Or we'll call it double eyes. And turn that off, because that's bothering me. He is like a spider, right? So again, another case, just to make something very bizarre. If you're thinking about like photo manipulation ideas, think about, obviously we could cut up features all day long. We could add features like we did here. What if we did the opposite? What if we jump in here and say, hey, you know what? Let's like remove these eyes as well. I could remove them using my clone stamp and features in here. I could try it actually. Let's just try this. I'm going to grab this whole eye, right? And I'm going to go to fill, and then I'm going to change this to content aware. Okay, so what's going to happen here is I hit content aware. It's going to say nothing is there. I wanted to try a new technique. But anyways, let's go to content aware fill. We'll just see what happens. It actually did a pretty good job. I wasn't even expecting it to do that good of a job. But it did a pretty good job. Right here, this is going to get even more difficult. But the problem with doing things this way is it is destructive. And it might work out just fine, especially since we're doing these really quick ideas. But I might want to have a little bit more control. Right? Like there. That doesn't... kind of gets me some of the way there, but doesn't get me all the way there. I would actually convert this to a smart object and go into your camera raw filter. Right? Because what we're missing first off is the cavity, but in here with camera raw filter, we can use this lovely little band-aid, right? Here's sort of like our healing brush tool, right? And this gives us an opportunity to kind of sample from parts and paint in other parts. So there we go. Oh, we can now sample and we just have more control when it comes to filling in this space. Okay, so right in here, it actually needs to be darker. So let's make that even bigger. Where does it sample from? Where's it even going? Clear over there? Or what are you even doing there, buddy? We'll come right in here and make sure it samples, say, from this part. You get the idea. But this is a case where you can kind of control the sampling area so you can make it look a little cleaner, right? J, we'll just switch to your mask tool so you can kind of see it. But yeah, that gives me like a little bit more control. And the cool thing is that is non-destructive. So notice right in here we have that camera raw filter. We can double click, go in, and then, you know, obviously change that or even fix this other part. Because this does need, we need to, you know, have even more control for this part too. Like, let's just do something like that. All right, you get the idea. Just showing you tools. All right. Okay, we got that done. Right. So far, so good. Let's do this. What if we wanted to sort of burn in the eye some more? So make this look like an eye cavity. You know, honestly, I would probably just copy like some of the skin from the forehead, and I would just bring that down here and then start to add a layer mask to soften the edges. That's what I would do. Right? That is not bad. X will flip colors. So we can paint with white and black, and then we can have that sort of like cavity, like so. Okay. Paint shadows. So yeah, what I was going to do is I was going to make a new layer. This is a brand new layer that we could sort of dodge and burn on. I got to think, is this even going to work? Oh, I wanted to do a clone stamp. But here's something: if you do use the tools in Photoshop, any of these the patch tools, any of this stuff, we'll go ahead and take a look at. Wait for it. It's thinking for some reason, and I don't have this file saved. You know, the clone stamp tool. So I could use clone stamp tool, use it on a new layer, because right up here, you could sample all layers. So this gives you an opportunity to kind of do something similar with what I did here. But in this case, I can come up here and hit the option key to sample and then paint accordingly to kind of paint in that cavity based on where I'm painting. So that adds it as a new layer, which is also just kind of like gives you some flexibility. And there we have that. It's getting freaky. We'll do that again right over here. We'll sample up here, and then we'll paint right down here. And in fact, for this one, we'll make it a little bit darker. There. Is this getting bizarre or what? There we go. There we go. We have the man with no eyes. You can also fine-tune the HOS, the stamp tool work. You can also fine-tuning HOS, the stamp tool work. There are options for it, yes. But I'd say that looks pretty good. We have double eyes. We have no eyes. Photo manipulation ideas. We could mix a couple different faces together. So let's do that. Let's actually make this, instead of making everything like realistic like we're doing, we're gonna play with some additional effects. So we'll do head. We'll duplicate it. We'll move this over. So we're going to just move this off to the side. In this case, I'm going to double click on it. We're just going to do like a 3D glasses look, or maybe a sort of like a, not really a double exposure, but like a duotone look to this as well. So right in here, we can say, hey, for this layer, this second head that I just added, I'm in the blending options. Of course, I could change the different blend modes. And right in here for the channels, I can say, hey, you know what? Turn off the blue channel. Turn off the red channel. It's still going to interact, but you get this interesting look. This is sort of like, I don't know, kind of like a 3D glasses look, just by turning off the channels. So that's essentially what you're doing with this RGB. We'll do that again. We'll just duplicate this. We'll move this over like so. We'll go back into our layer styles. And in this case, we'll maybe turn on the red, or even, I don't know, the blue. We'll just play with this. I think that looks pretty good. Also for this, we'll flip it. Flip horizontal. Boom. And then we can start painting to reveal that face a little bit more, so it's like a little bit easier to see, right? Because we kind of want to see this face, but these other faces are getting in the way. So here we go, our color channels. Add a layer mask, hit B for brush, you know, and start to just remove some parts just so it's a little bit more clear. So we still want this eye to show up. Maybe that blends, disappears. Maybe this part we're not a fan of. But that's how you can just kind of control the different channels to get an interesting look as well. Cool. There we go. You got it. I'm down to my last like 4 minutes, but let's group these. So now we have our sort of 3D glasses look. And let's place them all in here. We have this one. We have the double eyes. This is weird. We have the no eyes. Maybe we'll move this off to the side and we'll flip it. We have the peel back, which is probably my favorite. And then we had the globe and just the thought of putting different things inside of the head as well. So again, just multiple different ideas. Let's just kind of move that over like so. Maybe we'll just turn this one off. You guys get the idea there. But these are all the ideas and everything that we kind of created in a short amount of time. So that was my goal, just to make something kind of crazy. Take one photo and manipulate it like just different ways was the idea. So hopefully you learned something, and I enjoyed hanging out with you. I really wish, actually I'm going to be streaming later today on Facebook in case you want to follow me on the interwebs. Yeah, about some more like surrealism type designs. So thank you so much. We should have a daily creative challenge and some other things up next. Sorry, I don't have that schedule up. but you could just scroll down on this page and see what's happening next, which we do have Terry White. So 10 bad habits Lightroom users have. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So anyways, thank you so much for watching Slimy Typography today. We have a masterclass in Creative Cloud Express. Jason's gonna have a masterclass, and Howard will, as well as yeah, good old Kyle Webster. So thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys and all that you guys do. Yeah, stay safe out there. Call your mom. Drink more water. You know, all that stuff we should be doing, but we don't do. Maybe not be on your phone for 4 hours before going to bed. What a concept. But thanks so much, everybody. I'll be live streaming later today, so just keep an eye out for me, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.